welcome back to another Impact and Influence. Today I've got not only a great mate, but a preferred supplier and partner of Regrowth Consultancy, Jim Swan, with us. How are you, Jim?
I'm very well, thanks, Carl.
Now, for anyone that's been under a rock, Property Services 360 is a preferred partner and a partner that I've used previously in businesses that I've owned and operated. So Jim's been working with Regrowth Consultancy since our inception in March 2021, and he was probably the first phone call I made because we have used Jim and his team in a previous company, and I know what it brings to client experience for our customer, and I know what it brings for ease of access for staff. Jim, it's been a little while since I've done an Impact and Influence with you around Property Services 360. I think we had a chinwag last year about your adventures and a bit of who Jim Swan is outside of work, which is great. So if anyone hasn't watched that, I'd encourage you to go back and have a look at that. But today I really want everyone to understand what it is that your company does and how it's evolved since your launch. So would you mind sharing that with us?
Sure. So I guess about 5 or 6 years ago, I was always very long on compliance. I knew I could just tell that where the industry was going, and I could just tell it was just getting really a lot harder for property managers, and their skill set wasn't really, aligned with this sort of wall of compliance that was coming their way. So 5 years ago, we started with smoke alarms. So we were actually called Smoke Alarms 360 then. It took us quite a while to get, our system sort of sorted. COVID didn't help as well. But look, we got to a situation where we're very, very comfortable with the system. When the water flow testing legislation came in, we got geared up quite early for that. So all of our technicians were trained in, water flow restrictors and aerators and that. So we were able to combine those jobs. We added safety switches and also corded blinds to our offering. Because there was also a need in that. They wanted a bit of a one-stop shop for some of that other compliance as well. And, the other exciting news is we also just added pools as well to our. So we really are a very systemised, I guess, a place where you can go and we can manage all of your current compliance.
And Jim, I think there's two things you said there. One is, it's become so compliant heavy and legislated that it's very hard for a property manager to deliver world-class client experience and have influence when they're trying to wear all these hats. So be able to have a partner like you that can do that is incredible. I think you talked about the system there. I know you've spent a huge amount of resources, capital and time evolving your system. How is it different and what does it look like?
Well, I guess it's been built with the real estate agent in mind, really. So from ground up, it was built from the start with the real estate agent in mind. And one of our key differences there is we really are heavily, like I've deliberately, our DNA is basically real estate people. So everyone in my team has been in the industry. We don't come from a compliance background at all. And we've been able to make changes on the run as well and we're learning all the time that have really had significant sort of impact on I guess the efficiencies that we've built in the system. So we've obviously got we're integrated into most of the major CRMs and we've just Well,
let's talk about that actually with the CRMs, because I know one of the sort of rules of engagement that I've used in businesses in the past, but also an ethos of ours at Regrowth Consultancy is every time a supplier or somebody comes into your business and they want to plug something in or sell you a product is to ask 3 questions. One is, how does it improve the client experience or the efficiencies for my team?
Yeah.
How does it improve the client experience for our external customer? So be it tenant or landlord in your case. And more importantly, I think now to save time is the push and pull. So when we talk about APIs into systems, you've been integrated into Property Me for a while. I think you've got some news around Property Tree. Yeah. Would you like to share that? And what is it that you share?
Property Tree, we're literally a week or two away from, I haven't gone above the line yet with this news, but I've seen certainly here internally we can now push back in the service dates, invoices, and the compliance certificates as well. So, I mean, that will all be automated. and it's a bit of a game changer in that regard. I mean, the other thing also to take into consideration is security as well. So when we're out there, and even though we can API and do all these wonderful things, there's still a lot of agents that don't want to do it anyway. So there's also conversations around security and data integrity and how important that is. So yeah, we're very mindful of that, and we've certainly got that area covered as well. So very excited, yeah. And I mean, the stuff that we're doing with the portal is great as well. You know,
and who could access the portal? Is that just for the agent, or?
Yeah, they don't have to go there. It's just but it's certainly a source of all truth. So there's a full history there of every sort of bit of compliance product that we've or service, I should say, that we've done. All work orders are there. Because we're a compliance company, we've hard coded our job diary. So what that means is every bit of two-way SMS, every email that we have that's with a tenant, property manager, and even phone calls that we have with our tenant as well, they're all recorded. So and that's all available at any time an agent or PM, I should say, wants to get access to that. You know, we thought from day one we're going to be a fully transparent compliance company. So
actually, I'm so glad you brought up that transparency. So I'm just sharing with everybody at the moment our pillars of client experience that we talk about all the time at Regrowth Consultancy, and it's to make sure that we're delivering value every time when we interact with our customer, and that we're giving them information that's reliable, consistent, so we can help with that pillar of trust, solving problems for them at speed, and being responsive. And I think your product actually ticks every single one of these pillars of client experience, and we're keeping them within our community. So, you know, we train and coach our customers to try and only partner with people that tick one of those boxes, let alone all of them. So some of the features that you've got that foster transparency and I guess accountability and solve problems for people are things like your tracking, the insights. Can you talk to us a little bit around those things?
When you say tracking, you mean our technicians?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we've obviously communication is a big part of a big pillar of who we are, and that also comes down to how we communicate with the tenant in terms of the booking, from booking to further communication, and how we've got a really high access rate because you know we send really well. Not only do they get reminders the night before and then that morning, but we also have an Uber style app. So once the technician logs out of a previous job, it's able to forward through the SMS, and they can log in and they can see that we're 12, 15, 18 minutes away. So it just means that they can get organised, or if they're away somewhere else, they know exactly the timing around all that. Now, just little things like that certainly have improved our access rates enormously. And the other thing on that communication bit, Kyle, is it's really hard to, I guess, quantify that, and it's really hard to prove how good you are. But certainly, our greatest strength is I guess, our ability to form really meaningful partnerships with our agents. One of these big things that's happening in the industry is obviously the migration of property managers, and you know, it's a big concern obviously for the industry. But cheekily, it's been a great sort of thing for us because property managers have left other agents and gone somewhere else, and it's been our best source of growth. So they come in and they sort of say, well, you know, it's not quite like it was when I was over there using us. So then they get us to come in and you know, and on board. So that's been a really good, even from me, like I know we're on the right track. So and you know, the journey's only half done, but I really feel we've got a great team, and yeah, it's really hard to quantify that whole partnership piece, but I know we're definitely doing something right with it.
Yeah, and I think, guys, for those of you that are listening, yes, we're absolutely pushing Jim's services, but we just want everyone to get better at being better. So making sure that industry's got partners who are accessible. So when you ring someone actually picks up the phone, and you can talk to people. That two-way push and pull from your system is important, because something that we're seeing a lot of, Jim, when we're doing our DDs or health checks on rent rolls is still that bloody yellow folder in a property manager's Outlook with all the, you know, all the data and all the insights. So using systems like yours to make sure there is a central source of truth. And like you say, unfortunately, if people do come and go, at least you know it's embedded within the system. And compliance is something that when people are looking to buy businesses or you're looking after your asset, guys, it's so fundamentally important. But for those of you that know me, I don't partner with, nor does our team partner with people that aren't first and foremost in client experience and innovation. So, Jim, if people want to reach out to you, how do they go about finding you and your team?
The website probably would be the easiest way. So yeah, Property Services 360 is obviously the website, and they can definitely come through. And I think my details might be on your website as well.
Absolutely. So guys, we'll send this out through our database as well as our normal impact and influence with some information. We'll share some screenshots around what the dashboard looks like when you're dealing with Jim, because I think that the technology you've invested is enormous, but it also is a game changer. And if you make your property manager's life easier, they're more likely to stay and retain them. And it shouldn't be hard. You know, your partnerships in industry shouldn't be hard. They should save you time, provide better transparency, and make everyone's life easier. And I'm telling you now, if you deal with Property Services 360, it will make your life easier, and you know that your data is protected and that your team and your client have got a great client experience. Jim, thanks so much for sharing your time today. We're incredibly grateful for the partnership. Is there anything you'd like to wrap with?
No, not at all, Kylie. It's always a pleasure to catch up. Looking forward to that lunch too in December.
Not that there'll be many lunches coming into this time of the year. Guys, thanks so much. Have a great week, but please reach out to Jim and do yourself a favour looking into 2024. See you, Jim.
Bye-bye.